Hello, everyone. Hope y'all are doing well. It is a lot of energy swirling around, and there's this, little event happening on Monday, the 8th of April, the solar eclipse in Aries, total solar eclipse. So the moon is going to come between the sun and the earth. And yes, this happens for, twice a year. Not in Aries, but, eclipses happen twice a year. They come in pairs. But this one is not your regular solar eclipse. And it has gotten a lot of attention in the news, and just especially with all of the spiritual community voicing their perspectives. It's gotten so chaotic. And then the mainstream media, the news, is even reporting on it. But traditionally, eclipses have not been something to encourage to view because of its like chaotic and, well, based on observance, based on like Navajo tribes observing what has happened during eclipses. They've learned not to do certain things, like not to consume cooked food is one of the practices, not to go outside, definitely not to look at the sun or the sky. But each to each their own. These are just traditions that have been in place for hundreds of years. And there's always people who are going to want to experiment with the energies. So, I know the attempts that I've made in the past viewing eclipses have been unsuccessful for one reason or another, the timing or the weather. So, for me personally, I'm going to take that as a sign that it's not meant to be. So, with all of the information and news swirling around this one, yeah, I won't be making any attempts to view it, to witness it. And it is happening. I think peak eclipse is at 11:21 Eastern Standard Time, 11:21 a.m. And so, yeah, this is a big one. And we're halfway through the Libra Aries nodal lessons. 6 months ago, we had the eclipse, in the solar eclipse in Libra. This one is in Aries. And so this one kind of marks the halfway point of the nodal cycle of North Node Aries and South Node Libra. So we have 9 more months before the nodes switch to Pisces, North Node Pisces, and South Node Virgo. And so that's going to be January 29th, 2026. And yeah, this one not only is the moon and sun conjunct, so this is like a new moon but on steroids. And this one, what makes it an eclipse is the fact that the North Node is within 17 degrees. So the North Node in this event, the North Node during this solar eclipse is at 15 degrees, and the solar eclipse, so the sun and moon, are at 19 degrees and 24 minutes. And not only that, but Chiron, the wounded healer, is also at 19 degrees and 24 minutes. So to the minute, there is a conjunction with the wounded healer in Aries. And a lot of us, because of the way Chiron travels, most of us have Chiron in Aries in our natal chart. So this could be a Chiron return for many of us. So if you have Chiron within, some people use 10-degree orbs, so within 10 degrees of 19, so like between 9 and
29 degrees.
This could be affecting you personally. But that's what makes this eclipse, that's one of the things that makes this eclipse super out of the ordinary. So we have that conjunction exactly to the minute with the eclipse, Chiron, at 19 degrees and 24 minutes. And then we also have the ruler of Aries. So this is Mars. The Mars is the ruler of Aries, therefore the ruler of this eclipse is 1 degree away from Saturn. So Mars is in Pisces at 13 degrees and Saturn is at 14 degrees. And there's several conjunctions going on. Venus will be in Aries at this time. But let's see, what was I going to say? So we've got Mars conjunct Saturn in Pisces. So that's one co-occurrence with this solar eclipse. So this, that particular day. And then we also have Jupiter creeping up on Uranus. In fact, co-occurring with this eclipse is Mercury conjunct Aries at 24 degrees. And Aries, Eris, is an asteroid, also considered to be the goddess of strife and discord. And she's the one that they kind of blame for starting the Trojan War. But she was not invited to a wedding that Hera, Athena, and Aphrodite were at, and so she threw an apple into the party that said to the fairest of them all, and that just sparked a whole like a big competition among the three, and they went to Paris, and you can look up Judgment of Paris and get the full story. But there was some corruption and bribery, trying to get Paris, who is this Prince of Troy, to declare who was the fairest. And so Aphrodite offered up Helen of Troy, who was a mortal who was already married, and so Paris agreed to, claim that Aphrodite was the fairest, and so Helen was abducted, kidnapped, which sparked the Trojan War. And so there's a lot of feminine and masculine characteristics that are being played out in this myth. And we can see how Venus and Mars, Venus being the ruler of Libra and Mars being the ruler of Aries, like Venus is associated with the divine feminine, Mars is associated with the divine masculine, how it's been a struggle and a rebalancing of these energies. And before the nodes were in Aries and Libra, was it 2021 to 2023, they were in Taurus and Scorpio, with the North Node in Taurus, which is Venus-ruled, and the South Node in Scorpio, which is Mars-ruled. And so it's reverse of what we have now. We have a Mars-ruled North Node and a Venus-ruled South Node this time. And Venus represents relationships, women, money, values, what we attract, what we're attracted to, what are attracted to us, self-worth, yin energy. And then Mars is representative of independence, severing, war, conflict, aggression, will, ambition, pursuits, protection, yang energy. And so with the North Node in Aries, we are moving toward more of an independent, ambitious yang kind of energy for us to individuate. And when we individuate, there is a sense of there is a tendency to isolate, but in that isolation lends a lot of healing. And with Chiron, so that's, I feel like a big part of this solar eclipse is the healing aspect, with Chiron conjunct to the minute with this solar eclipse. And so it's a lot more difficult to heal when we are surrounded by influences outside of ourselves, when we are distracted and not able to center ourselves, and just being pulled in different directions, stressed out, being fear-mongered. And there's the lesson of like pulling away from all of those things and going against the status quo, and cutting those relationships off that have been holding us back, like the codependence on it could be another person, it could be a job, it could be a habit, it could be a belief. We're cutting and changing and transforming those things so that we can really focus on our inner self. And another thing I wanted to mention about Mars and Saturn, Mars being in the sign of Pisces, and this will, they will form a conjunction at 14 degrees, which is a Taurus degree, and Taurus is about, all the five senses, appealing to all the five senses, being in your body, making sure that all of your somatic needs are being met, and just paying attention more to how you're reacting physically to whatever it might be, like stress, how you're reacting to relationships, even your neighborhood, if your body is reacting negatively, then those are signs to pay attention to. They're messages. Like your body, the body doesn't lie, you know. So if there's something suppressed, if your emotions are being suppressed, it's going to come out physically. And so a lot of us need to pay attention and take the time to explore those healing modalities, especially in the sign of Pisces. Pisces is also connected to mental health and solitude. It also, you know, Pisces can represent, you know, energetic healing. So it's like that intangible, the intangible things in life where, you know, it's a matter of visualization and manifestation that is needed to heal those wounds. And you know, it only takes a change of perspective to relieve your stress. Like there's a you feel a lot more light. There's a lightness in your shoulders as soon as you become aware of some piece of truth, you know, that wasn't there before. Or in like a like the epiphany moment that you get is like, you know, your shoulders drop. You know, it's like paying attention to things like that will help us heal our wounds. And what the heck? There's like a mosquito on my phone just hanging out. So there's different energy healing modalities: Reiki, tarot cards, massage, past life regressions. Pranic healing is another form of healing that I discovered recently, which my experience with it involved cord cutting. And so Share the Light, I think her Instagram is Share the Light 333, is her name is Isu. My what would you call it? My session with Isu involved cord cutting, and she was able to like read the energies and the aura, and yeah, it was amazing. Like she's able to see these intangible energies and be able to like cut these cords and, you know, send healing energy. So that's something to explore. I definitely recommend her. And with all of this healing, you know, there's like a wave of people that are realizing that, you know, the medicines and the diagnoses that we've been receiving traditionally through the medical system hasn't been reliable, and there is something else out there that offers a lot more truth, and the medicine can be taken, you know, the medicine can come through naturally, like through, you know, herbs and oils and things that are from the earth that are not synthetic, you know. So there's so many, and like not even just you know, even aside from medicinal forms of healing, there's energetic healing, you know, like putting your feet in the ground and absorbing the light from the sun. You know, there's ways that we're not paying enough attention to, and it's been by design. You know, there's plenty of information out there that speaks to how natural forms of healing has been like, there hasn't been any attention on it by design. Like there's an intentionality of avoiding natural healing options. There's you know, there's like, we're coming to realize now that the reason why we haven't discovered, or we haven't been told about these natural ways of healing, has been to serve a certain group of people, to keep a certain system in place that keeps like us little people in a rat wheel, you know. So to keep us dependent, like codependent on these synthetic medicines that can only be produced and cost money. And yeah, it's just this sick, sinister system that's been in place, and we're realizing that, you know, that system is, and, you know, needs to be, and is being dismantled. And so this leads me to believe that, you know, healing will be emerging from the bottom up. So it's like these underground services that are separate from the medical system. There's no hospital that's, you know, hospitals are so, I think they even have policies that don't allow them to accept, like doulas are not part of the medical system in the birthing process, as far as I know. And I know like some doulas have had a lot of problems finding jobs because hospitals won't allow them to be present during the birthing process, or like the policies that they have in the hospitals conflict with the doula's beliefs. And so these natural healing modalities have been taking place underground, like behind the scenes. So I think more of these healing modalities are going to emerge. I mean, they're already emerging and becoming a lot more well known. And I mean, I guess you could call it mainstream. But eventually, I think this will lead to like a massive rebellion. And the unexpected fringe groups will become the voice of reason that collectively represents and resonates with the masses to a degree that the authorities cannot turn a deaf ear to anymore. And it'll be like an overthrow. And out of these new breed of leaders who have this access or connection to the spiritual world, a lot of them probably have like one foot in, one foot out of the corporate world and spiritual world. I believe that they will be using their platform to share their experiences and let people know that it is a safe, like connecting with nature is not just safe but healing. You know, we've been programmed to believe that it's us against nature, and we're like inside these structures where we are supposedly protected from nature, but then we're siphoning nature's resources and putting them in certain, you know, materials for, you know, our own benefit and not giving back. And so now, which leads to another point, is like Earth is starting to reclaim her power, you know, as above so below, and so below so within. You know, like this is happening with the Earth as well, like reclaiming her sovereignty and like removing those entities that are no longer serving her, that have been taking more than they need and not giving back. And so just like us humans, like we are cutting ties with those things that have been taken from us without any reciprocity, no understanding. And it's just the nature of this evolutionary process at this moment. And so, yeah, there's a lot going on with this, and with the solar eclipse. And yeah, it's impossible to like simplify, you know. One of the other things that was interesting was the fact that the solar eclipse back in 2005 also happened at 19 degrees Aries, and so that was 19 years ago. So Aries was the North Node and Libra was the South Node. So if you keep journals or even emails, any kind of like way of messaging or photos even, you can look back and see what was going on during April 2005. I think it was to the day, yeah, April 8th also. So yeah, I feel like this is a rebalancing of the feminine and masculine energies, and Venus and Mars met up in Aquarius not too long ago, I think in February, late February, and Aquarius is a very emotionally detached sign, but don't get it twisted. There's still a lot of love and wisdom that Aquarius holds. He's the water bearer, and water is symbolic of emotions and knowledge. And so they connected at 6 degrees and 56 minutes, and they traveled together through all of 7 degrees. And 7 degrees symbolizes Libra energies. And so this is like a emphasis on those relationships that that are imbalanced and are seeking either a and not just either, but like seeking reciprocity, or like reclaiming of the power in the relationship, rebalancing of the feminine masculine. And it doesn't have to just be between, you know, those two, like man and woman, or however we identify as. Like, it can be between family members, friends, you know, parent, child, you know, work, boss, you know, employee. So it's a widespread energy that is so profound, and it's definitely shifting timelines. And there's no turning back. Like, there's no way that we can operate in those same old ways in this brand new paradigm that we are co-creating, that we're learning how to build, and like figuring out what works and what doesn't work. So I don't know if that made sense. Hopefully it does. Hopefully it was helpful. And there's a couple resources that I've come across in the past couple of days that kind of confirmed or like affirmed the astrology. You know, like, I'm just reading the symbolism and, you know, providing my perspective of how these planets are interacting with each other. But Laura Matsu and her husband have a podcast called Cosmic Matrix, and so their latest one talks about the eclipse, the beginnings and endings. And she mentions The Wheels of God, who is which is a book written by Keith Magnay, Megnay, and Wheels is spelled Wheals. And in that book, there's you know, a theme or belief how eclipses bring out the shadows of the areas that the eclipse passes over. So yeah, the eclipse, and it makes sense. Like, if it doesn't resonate with you, then, you know, keep it moving. But the belief is that a shadow is cast over those areas, and those areas that are affected by the shadow will be where shadow aspects of those areas come up. And, like, you know, like anybody that is in the eclipse path, the shadows will surface. So that's an interesting take on eclipses, I thought. So I definitely will be rabbit holing into that one too. So thought it was worth sharing. But I think the important thing to remember is to stay grounded, stay centered, stay hydrated. You know, come the eclipse, you know, the focus that, like, the spiritual world is encouraging is to go within, and pray and visualize for the best, highest outcome for everyone involved. And rather than getting sucked into the sensationalism and fear mongering of any of these events, you know, any event, period, you know, whether it's a celestial event or war, or, you know, even a football game, you know, whatever it might be. The energy during those kind of sensationalized events is used to pull us away from our centeredness, and so that's something to remember and keep in mind. And yeah, there is buzz around the event that, you know, well, like 3 rockets are going to be sent into space during the eclipse, and there's another organization that will be testing some other particle tester or something to collect data and during the eclipse. And so it's just a little, to me, it's suspect, you know, like there's no regard for the natures of law, and it's just another, in my opinion, like another form of disrespect to Gaia, you know, like disrupting this celestial event and not allowing nature to take its course, and like humans have to interfere with what's going on. And, you know, like, we're just tiny little beings in this flesh sack, and like we can't just step back and like let the luminaries have their conversation. It's so wild. So yeah, that's what I'll be doing, going within and staying centered. So, but yeah, to each their own. Everybody has their own experience, and yeah, there's no judgment. This information that I share is only meant to, you know, take it as a form of entertainment, you know, for the meantime anyway. But yeah, I hope that was helpful, and I hope it made sense. And again, thank you as always for listening. And yeah, happy eclipse season. Take care.